Welcome to Listen by Gene Ginsberg. This audio experience and podcast is all about social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and interviews with top entrepreneurs in the digital and social space. I am your host, Gene Ginsberg, digital marketing expert, #1 best-selling author, and award-winning entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you strategies, tips, and tactics on how to grow your business and your social media following. Thanks for listening. Hey everyone, Gene Ginsberg here. I have a very, very special guest today. So excited. I've been working with Quentin. And do you go by Quentin or Q?
Either.
Okay,
Actually, like COVID happened, so I might start going by Quentin Michael because I feel like I've aged like 20 years since COVID. But Q typically is what people say.
Q. I know. We've been working together, so I don't really like call you by your name. I'm just always like LinkedIn coach. So super excited to have you on the show. Tell us about yourself. For people who are not familiar with you, I think a lot of people know who you are because you've been on LinkedIn for so long, but maybe talk about your background and, how you got into where you are now.
Yeah. It's so weird because I don't know how to answer that question anymore. And people
start from the beginning.
I don't want to go way back, but I started off as a singer-songwriter. I just always knew that I didn't really want to work for other people. I didn't really fit in with like the traditional corporate jobs. Like that just was never for me. Ended up finding technology, worked social media jobs, worked marketing jobs. I was a marketing assistant, a copywriter, a ghostwriter. Then I had an offer out of college to work with a startup company or work with a wearable tech startup company, and then another one for virtual reality startup. And I ended up declining both of those to launch my own company, which was a terrible decision. It worked out ultimately, but literally anything and everything that you could think of that went wrong in my life. But I was recording videos throughout that entire time of my life. And first startup failed, second startup failed, and then somewhere along the lines in there, one of my videos popped off, it went viral, and then my life kind of changed in there and ended up starting a company. We made a lot of money, and then we closed our doors due to COVID. But learned a lot, grew a lot. I've done cool things, done terrible things too, made a lot of mistakes. But I don't know, I wouldn't change anything, and I've been having a lot of fun. Now it's just figuring out what I want to do next and making sure that I'm super passionate about it.
Right. So now it's a matter of what do I want to do when I grow up?
Yeah, and I've been asking myself that question every day.
So talk about your video, the video that popped off. What was the topic and what do you think caused it to go viral? Because people always ask me that question, like, how do you get your videos to be viral?
Yeah. So I had been recording videos, I think, for a year before then. And just everything about my life, like, hey, this is what it's been like building my company. This is year one. Like this happened with this client, things like that. And I'd got like maybe 100 views on my top video. And I bounced around from platforms. So YouTube to Snapchat to Facebook to Instagram. I found a little bit of success on a platform called Ask Whale, which most people don't even know what that is.
I've never heard of it.
It was around for a little bit. I think it was founded by Justin, I'm blanking on his name, but the founder of Twitch. But basically the app went under. And then I moved to LinkedIn. And that's when video just came out. I had been paying attention to it for like a week, and I was hesitant to jump on because I was like 23 at the time. And I'm like, should I do this? Like there's all these professionals, like what can they learn from me? And I decided to do it, but my video was just like, I'm this kid. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to show up every single day. Hey, like that was it. And it hit 30,000 views. And after that, it wasn't like a turning point for me. Like, wow, like every video went viral, because it wasn't. But a year, 2 years later, I was flying around the world speaking. Like I had this company that was voted 50 coolest companies, like we had 12 employees, we were making decent money. Like it stemmed from that first video, just saying, hey, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but hey.
So that was the topic of the video, was like, I don't know what I'm doing?
Literally,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess maybe people just related really well to it because they were like, well, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. So I can relate to this 23-year-old kid, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't a time that like that was the first week that video was released
Okay.
on that platform. So I know a lot of people were having the same thought process as I was.
Very, very cool. So you're a TEDx speaker, right? That's one of your accolades. So what was your TEDx talk about?
Yeah, it was really about the future, technology, how the world's going to change, and the importance of telling your story within that.
So just like kind of marketing storytelling and sharing your experiences?
Oh yeah, more personal branding. Yeah, sharing your experience within the world as it changes, as it evolves.
Very cool. And so how have you used that for your business, whether that's your personal brand or your business that you used to have? Like how has that been relevant? I mean, I'm sure it's really relevant, but maybe if you can share with our audience how that's been relevant.
Yeah. So as I said, our company, we're closing our doors this month, so October of 2020. It's crazy that it's October 2020. Closing our doors this month, and it was a decision, not something that we were forced into, because we wanted to go our different ways. Two of our people are going to continue it, but even like now, like there are leads in my inbox because of just who I am and what I've built, and same for my co-founders. So if you look at like personal branding and how that's impacted me, like I remember sitting in my apartment with the power off, with my fridge empty, with spoiled food in it because the power was off, like not being able to feed my animals, not having any clients, not knowing how I was going to pay rent. Like my life completely changed, like a complete 180, because I was making these videos, I was making this content. Half of our business revenue was from our personal branding clients as well. So we were able to have that same impact on our clients too.
And what would you say, what are you working on now? So you've closed your business, which, I mean, it sounds like it's kind of a bittersweet moment, right? I mean, sounds like you've had a really good business. Things were going really well, but then you also decided that, this might be a good time for you to pivot and to do your own thing. So I guess not all bad, bittersweet, but what are you working on now? And what do you see for yourself in the near future?
Yeah, three things. One, I'm working on a new show. I've had two podcasts in the past, one in esports, one just broad business, entrepreneurial topics. And this one specifically, like I really want to challenge myself as a storyteller. Just tell better stories and in a way that I haven't before, and push myself in a way that I haven't. So that's launching second week of November. And then I'm also building a incubator / angel fund for Black and Brown founders with a group in Milwaukee. And then outside of that, I'm deciding if I want to go full-time into fashion, full-time into esports. And then I'm talking with a big time entrepreneur in the personal branding space. And I don't know. I love all of those things. I want it to be world changing, and I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years, and I've been stuck in like this identity. Hey, like you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be an entrepreneur. You need to do it yourself. And I think at this stage in my career, I can learn faster. I can learn more if I'm under someone that is a good leader and they've done the things that I'm wanting to do. So where that is and what that is, I don't know. But that's kind of what I'm working on now.
And you mean by being under someone as in that person, that big person in the personal branding space? Is that what you're
So either that
to?
or someone in esports or an organization in esports or fashion.
This podcast is brought to you by the Digital Marketing Method monthly group coaching program, your methodology for growing your business and your social media following. Join me and my group of supportive entrepreneurs and learn how you can grow your business and your social media following, where we cover topics such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email marketing, and so much more. Go to dmgroup.online, dmgroup.online.
Gotcha. I haven't decided what it is yet, but I'm fielding offers and deciding what I want to do, and I can't take too much time, but I've just been chilling for like 6 months, so
that's not bad too, right? Like sounds like you've had some time to think about things and to maybe take a step back after COVID and after your business like slowed down. So there's all in our lives, we're always going to have a time where we need to take a step back and think about like what is it that we actually want to do. Sometimes we just get into like this flow, right? We're like, oh, we're just kind of going with the flow. We have a business, things are moving forward, and we just kind of forget about the mission, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, and maybe that's what happened, right? Like you were like going along with all of your co-founders and your clients, and you're like, great, everything's moving forward. Like I have a really cool business, and then sometimes things happen, and you're like, maybe I need to take a step back and think about what it is that I want to do. So nothing, nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Became a machine, feed the
Yeah.
machine, get more clients, hire more people, do the projects, repeat.
Yep. Rinse and repeat, right? So it's good, I think, to maybe take a step back and just think about what's the big picture, right? What is it that I'm trying to do? So, but do you ever think you're ever going to go back to corporate America?
Nah, I think
Another option?
it depends how you define that. I know with who I am and who I am as a person, like no matter what I do, there's nothing that's changing about me, like in the way that I do things. So it's going to have to be an organization that understands that. Like I need my freedom. I need the flexibility, and I can get a lot of work done very, very fast. But maybe, I'm learning never to say never.
So that also potentially could be on the horizon. Just depends on the opportunities, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Very interesting, how things change when you have to pivot, right? And so what do you think, based on your experience with your business that you're currently shutting down, what do you think has changed in the industry since COVID? And that could be specifically in your industry or just in the industry, in general in the marketplace. Like, where do you see the changes and where do you see the future?
Yeah. I don't even know what my industry is anymore, but something that I've been fascinated by is like where social media is going, and you look at LinkedIn, like everyone's talking about LinkedIn, they're talking about TikTok. I'm obsessed with this new platform called Clubhouse as well, which is like this invite only audio platform right now because it's in beta. But if I look at the future of just social in general, I'm a big gamer. I'm big into esports. Something that I would encourage people to pay attention to is like gaming. You look at something like Fortnite, like that to me is a future of social media. Like you're in it. They're already doing things like big concerts, and people are gathering around the world to like experience this music and big collaborations. I would look at something like that if I was looking at the future of my industry.
And what do you think, like, what would that look like? What do you envision it being? Like, are you saying like Fortnite is going to combine with Facebook? Or is it going to create their own social media network? Or what do you think is going to be the case?
Yeah. So before COVID, I think right before COVID, I want to say, they hired like 3,000 people, or they were like 3,000 listings or something like that, I want to say, which is huge. So in my opinion, I think they're working on something like, if you've ever seen Ready Player One or read Ready Player One, I think they're working on something like that. So what I mean by that is like a place where you step into it. I don't know if it's going to be Facebook. I'm sure they're working on something as well. But a place that you step into.
Like
hey,
a
this
VR
is
place.
Yeah, this is, and you could feel it. You got like a haptic feedback suit on, like you can feel things, a place that you're stepping into. And like, this is my digital avatar. People are going to launch businesses in this space, like things like that. Think Ready Player One.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of see that being the case where like you want to experience the game so much that you actually want to be in it. And so being like some sort of virtual reality type scenario where it's more than just the goggles, right? But you actually have like a suit and everything, and you're like in the game. So that is, I haven't thought about that, but I definitely can see that being the case. I guess my thoughts are always like, what's going on in social media now? But I guess that's part of potentially social media in the future, right? Like it's not necessarily like TikTok and Facebook, right? It could be a bunch of other new players in the space that we haven't even really seen yet, right?
And I think with that though, like you mentioned, like what's going on now, I think a lot of people like social media, it's, hey, like how can I hack the algorithm? And again, you look at my first video, why it went viral, it was just me, it was authentic. So if you look at it, like, where is it going in the future? We are actually there. There's our digital avatar. We're there, we're present. It's just an extension of who we are, And I think even how you approach social media now, it should be an extension of who you are. I'm not trying to be something you're not just trying to hack the algorithm, but really showing up as your true authentic self.
Yes, and that's something that I've heard a lot about. I mean, and that's something that I strive to do as well, is try to be my authentic self when it comes to social media or anywhere else, this podcast, whatever it might be. It's like you want to show what you're doing and how you're experiencing the world versus trying to be someone that you're not. So speaking of storytelling, for the audiences who are listening, what would you recommend if someone, let's say, is just getting started with their business, or maybe is an entrepreneur, wants to become an entrepreneur? How do you use storytelling to be authentic, and what would you recommend for someone like that?
Yeah, I would say dip your toe in the water, but also like find some people that you like and just imitate. I think a lot of people think that they're going to come out of the gates just hot, like, oh my God, I've got my voice, like I'm the best, I'm the top creator. And it just never happens that way. Never, ever happens that way. So find a few people that you like. What do you like about that person? What do you like about this person? Now try to just imitate. And I think you'll create your own style from that. I'm not saying copy everything that they do. Don't steal from them, but imitate, learn from what they're doing. There's a reason why what they're doing is working. And if you can understand that reason, I think you're going to be more successful in the long run.
Which actually brings me to my next point. So who do you follow on social media or LinkedIn or wherever platform you use?
Yeah, one of my biggest influences video-wise is Jason Silva. I love Malcolm Gladwell. I'm obsessed with Sophia Moroso as an entrepreneur. I've got a lot of influences, but I love to look at things that aren't like directly in my industry or things like that. So I'm obsessed with like esports and the way that they're doing collaborations right now. I love the fashion industry and the way that they're doing collaborations right now. And I try to bring that to the spaces that I've been in as well. But Sophia Moroso, Jason Silva, Malcolm Gladwell, I can name off a long list, but yeah.
No, this is good because it's helpful for me to know, just also because I like to follow people and entrepreneurs and whatnot on social media and just see what they're doing. Are you talking about Jason Silva, host of the National Geographic's Brain Games? Okay, that's the one, because there's a few Jason Silvas.
I don't think he's an entrepreneur, but
oh, okay. He's not an entrepreneur.
I found him during his Shots of Awe days. He's like a futurist. I honestly don't even know what he is. So he's a cool guy.
Yeah, no, I love this because I also always want to get recommendations of people that others follow, right? Like, so you're following a certain group of people that I've never heard of them. I mean, I've heard of Malcolm Gladwell and I've heard of Sophia Moroso, but not Jason Silva. And so now I'm connecting with him on LinkedIn to see so that I can follow him and check out his content, because I love doing that and seeing, what people have been up to. That's kind of how you learn, right?
I don't know if he's active on LinkedIn. If he is, I don't know.
Okay.
He's
so
cool.
Maybe really other platforms, maybe Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, Instagram, YouTube. That might be it, actually.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. Any last words, or how can people get in touch with you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, you can find me anywhere at tagjustq. Otherwise, my website is quentinallums.com. Just shoot me a message and say you heard this episode and I will connect.
Awesome. Quentin Allums, thanks so much. Very excited to have you on the show, and I'm sure that we'll have you back on many times, as you are a powerhouse in the LinkedIn industry. I mean, just social media in general. So it's always good to hear what you're working on, and I'm sure people always want to hear what's happening and what's working in LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks.